Welcome to another MoneyDoodleLab explainer. I'm your host, your friendly doodle guide through the wild and, let's be honest, sometimes totally confusing world of personal finance. We are jumping right in today because we're not just looking at some dry, boring financial concept. No, we are revealing the absolute ultimate secret to wealth building. So, if you want to know how everyday people build massive fortunes without literally working themselves to the bone, you are in exactly the right place. Let me ask you something. Have you ever planted a tiny seed and watched it grow into a huge tree? I mean, it takes time, right? You stick the seed in the dirt, give it some water, and for a while, well, absolutely nothing seems to happen. But then, boom, a little sprout appears, then some branches, and before you know it, it's this massive oak tree. This incredible natural process actually perfectly mirrors the core financial concept we're digging into today. We're talking about planting financial seeds. Section 1. The secret to wealth beyond a huge salary. You know, a lot of people falsely believe that the only way to get rich is to earn this massive 6 or 7-figure salary. They think you just have to grind, work 80-hour weeks, and cash these huge paychecks to ever get ahead. But the wealthy? Well, they know a completely different secret. It's actually not just about how much you earn. It's all about what your money does after you earn it. Okay, let's dive into this definition. Compound interest. Basically, it's when your money earns money and then that new money starts earning money too. Think about standard interest for a second. Interest is really just extra money a bank pays you for the privilege of letting them use your cash while it sits in your savings account. It's kind of their way of saying thank you. But compound interest? Oh, that is an endless loop of wealth creation. Section 2. The math behind the magic. Tommy's money tree. Let's introduce Tommy. Tommy's a smart kid who just got $100 for his birthday. Now, he could easily run out and blow it all on video games, right? But instead, he decides to save it. He treats this $100 like a tiny money tree seedling and plants it right in his savings account. Let's break down the math on what happens next. Step 1. Tommy puts his $100 in an account paying 10% interest every single year. After 1 year, his $100 earns 10%, which is $10. So $100 plus $10 equals $110. Simple enough, right? But here is the real aha moment in step 2. In year 2, the bank doesn't just pay interest on that original $100. Nope, it pays interest on the entire $110. So 10% of $110 is $11. Now he has $121. Did you catch that? He earned $10 the first year, but $11 the second year? That extra dollar? That is the magic kicking in. And this brilliantly illustrates the long-term power of this whole concept. Look at the upward curve over these 5 years. Tommy is making literally 0 extra deposits. He isn't adding a single cent of his own money after that first birthday 100. Yet his balance goes from $11 to $121 to $133, $146, and finally $161 in year 5. His money tree isn't just growing. The rate at which it's growing is speeding up every single year. So what does this all mean? It means compound interest is simply money making money. Just let that sink in for a second. You did not work for that extra cash. You didn't mow an extra lawn, you didn't pull a late shift at the office, you didn't have to start some crazy side hustle. Your money literally put on a little hard hat, went to work, and recruited more money to join your account. That is the absolute essence of passive income. Section 3. The power of time, the ultimate currency. Now, you're going to want to pay close attention here, because if there's one single thing you take away from this explainer, let it be this. To really harness the power we just talked about, you need the ultimate currency. And actually, scratch that. I'm not talking about dollars, euros, or yen. I'm talking about time. In the wealth building game, time is absolutely crucial and wildly more important than the initial amount of cash you have in your pocket. Let's contrast 2 completely different paths to see why. Over here we have Emma. Emma starts saving just $100 when she's 10 years old. And then we have Jake. Jake decides to wait. He decides to start saving that exact same $100, but he puts it off until he's 20 years old. Look at the stark difference between our early starter and our late starter. Same money, same interest rate, but completely different financial futures. It all comes down to the number 10. 10 extra years. That is the massive advantage Emma has over Jake. Her money has an entire extra decade to compound, grow, and multiply. Even if Jake suddenly panics and starts saving way larger amounts later in life, he's going to have an incredibly difficult time catching up to Emma. Why? Because compound interest needs time more than absolutely anything else to become truly powerful. The earlier you start, the more heavy lifting the math does for you. Section 4. The snowball effect. Gathering momentum. Let's move along and see how this builds. We're transitioning from planting a tiny seed to rolling something down a very long, very steep hill. First, your money grows. Then, the growth grows. Finally, the growth of the growth grows. It's like a giant puzzle, but way more fun. Imagine you're rolling a tiny, hand-sized snowball down a snowy hill. At first, it's small, but as it rolls, snow sticks to it. It gets a little bigger. And as its surface area increases, it picks up snow even faster. By the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, it's not a snowball anymore. It's this enormous boulder of snow. That idea of gathering momentum, that is exactly how compounding accelerates over decades. But, and this is a big but, patience is the secret ingredient. Now here's where so many people make a critical mistake in their personal finance journey. They save some money, they see it earn a little bit of interest, and bam, they immediately withdraw it to spend it. Doing that is exactly like picking every single apple off your little tree before it even has the chance to grow more branches. If you want the giant snowball, if you want the massive tree, you have to leave the money alone. When interest stays in the account, it joins the original money to create even more interest later. Seriously, it's no wonder that compound interest is widely considered the eighth wonder of the world, a phrase often credited to Albert Einstein. Now, whether Einstein actually said this to a financial advisor or not, well, historians debate that. But the core idea, it remains absolutely undeniably true. Compound interest can seem so small, so insignificant at first, but given enough time, it becomes an unstoppable force of nature. Tiny amounts turn into surprisingly large fortunes if you just give them the runway they need. Section 5. The big lesson. Our MoneyDoodleLab takeaway. So, we've looked at the math, the snowball, the money tree, and the absolutely crucial element of time. Now it's time to distill all of this down into your core blueprint for long-term wealth creation. If you learn only one thing today, let it be this formula. Start early, save regularly, be patient. That's the whole shebang right there. This is your formula. Compound interest equals money plus time plus patience. Look, compound interest isn't actual magic, even though it feels exactly like magic because of how fast money can grow over time. The sooner you start saving, the more time your money has to grow. Small amounts saved today become huge amounts tomorrow. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. What seed are you planting today to grow your giant money tree tomorrow? Really think about it. Are you waiting for a huge salary? Or are you going to start right now with whatever you have, treating every single dollar as a tiny seed? Plant it, water it, give it time. Thank you so much for joining me for this MoneyDoodleLab explainer. Go out there, start planting those seeds, stay patient, and keep improving your financial knowledge. I'll see you next time.